7 Truths About Cha Eun Woo. The beauty, the silence, and the storm beneath. There are stars who shine loudly, and then there are stars who glow so steadily that you don't realize how bright they are until you've been staring for years. Cha Eun Woo belongs to the second kind, the kind whose presence feels familiar, almost gentle, until one day it hits you that nothing about him is ordinary. His story doesn't arrive in pieces, it unfolds in scenes, echoing the same emotional rhythm fans have come to recognize in every chapter before. This is not just a list of truths. This is a continuation of the same story you've been reading all along. When beauty is only the beginning, the first time you see Cha Eun Woo, it feels unreal. The symmetry, the calm eyes, the kind of face that looks sculpted rather than born. People talk about his visuals as if they're the whole story, but that is only the opening shot, the wide-angle scene before the camera zooms in. Behind the flawless image is a man who knows exactly how heavy beauty can be. From the beginning, his looks arrived before his name, before his voice, before his work. Doors opened quickly, but expectations followed even faster. In auditions, on stages, in interviews, he learned early that people saw him before they listened to him. He does not rely on his looks, he wrestles with them. He has spent years trying to prove that his face is not the limit of his talent, but merely the cover of a much longer story. Like every character he plays, he walks into the room already judged, already admired, already misunderstood. And still he stays. A quiet man in a loud industry. On screen, Cha Eun Woo falls in love loudly. He confesses with trembling voices, holds gazes that seem endless, and lets emotions spill freely. Off-screen, he is almost the opposite. Those who meet him describe a man who listens more than he speaks, who pauses before answering, who chooses his words carefully. His silence is not emptiness, it is intention. In a world that rewards noise, he has mastered restraint. This quiet nature often surprises fans. They expect confidence to arrive with volume, charisma to explode in every sentence. Instead, Cha Eun Woo offers calm. He offers stillness. And in that stillness, there is control. Discipline behind the perfection. Fame did not soften Cha Eun Woo, it sharpened him. Behind the polished performances is a schedule that leaves little room for comfort. Acting, music, brand commitments, training, studying scripts late into the night, his days are stacked endlessly. Yet he rarely complains, rarely slows. He pushes himself even when exhaustion settles in, not because someone demanded it, but because he demands it of himself. Every role becomes a test, every performance a quiet challenge. He refuses to coast, even when the world tells him he already has enough. The emotion he keeps guarded. There is a softness in Cha Eun Woo's eyes that cannot be taught. It appears in moments where words disappear and emotion takes over. He has spoken about loneliness, about doubt, about the distance between the image people see and the person he knows himself to be. Fame surrounds him with crowds, yet often leaves him alone with his thoughts. Rather than explain pain, he transforms it into performance. Rather than overshare, he lets emotion live between pauses, glances, and silences. That restraint is what makes his characters feel real and unfinished, like real people. Love treated with weight. When Cha Eun Woo portrays love, it never feels careless. His characters don't love recklessly, they love deliberately, painfully, beautifully. He believes love requires sincerity and responsibility. Even in fiction, he treats emotional connections as something earned, not rushed. That is why audiences believe him. His love stories don't feel scripted, they feel lived. Refusing to stay the same each project he chooses pushes him just beyond what he has already done. He avoids repetition, even when repetition would be safer. From gentle roles to darker ones, he is slowly dismantling the box built around him. He is not in a hurry to arrive. He is more interested in becoming. Longevity, he understands, requires evolution, and evolution requires discomfort. A legacy still in motion. Despite his success, Cha Eun Woo speaks like someone at the beginning. He talks about learning, growing, and wanting to be remembered not for how he looked, but for how he worked. He knows fame fades, but effort echoes. He is not chasing immortality. He is building consistency, laying bricks rather than monuments. ensuring his story doesn't end abruptly but flows. The story that keeps rhyming. Cha Eun Woo's truths do not contradict the stories that came before they rhyme with them. Quiet strength, restrained emotion, relentless discipline, beauty that opens doors, and substance that keeps them open. He is not just a star. He is a narrative in motion. And the most mind-blowing truth of all remains this. The more you think you know Cha Eun Woo, the more he reminds you the story is far from finished. Truth 1 expanded. When beauty becomes a battlefield, there is a moment, often unseen, that comes after the first gasp, after the cameras flash, after the crowd murmurs the same word in different languages, beautiful. That moment is where Cha Eun Woo actually lives. Because beauty, when it arrives too perfectly, stops being a gift and starts becoming a challenge. From the earliest days, rooms would go quiet when he entered. Not because of confidence or reputation, those came later, but because faces like his interrupt attention. Casting directors paused longer than necessary. Stylists already imagined covers. Producers already imagined reactions. And in those moments, before he spoke a single line, his future was half written for him. This is the truth beneath the surface. Cha Eun Woo was never allowed to be average, not even once. In auditions, he could feel it. The polite smiles that said, "You'll do fine." The unspoken assumption that his face would carry him where effort might not. And with every compliment came a shadow question that followed him relentlessly. But can you act? That question didn't disappear with success. It grew louder. On set, under bright lights, he learned to read the room. He noticed how expectations sat heavier on him than others. If he performed well, it was expected. If he slipped, it was magnified. Beauty, after all, invites scrutiny. It demands proof. So he began to overprepare. Scripts weren't just memorized, they were dissected. Lines weren't just delivered, they were weighed. He practiced expressions in mirrors not out of vanity, but out of fear that one wrong look would confirm every doubt people carried silently about him. There were days when exhaustion showed, when the reflection staring back at him felt like a stranger wearing his face. A face everyone loved. A face he sometimes wished he could hide behind rather than be defined by. And yet, he never rejected it. That's the scene most people miss. Cha Eun Woo didn't try to erase his beauty or downplay it. Instead, he chose to stand still inside it and build something stronger around it. He let the world look while he worked. With every role, he chipped away at the illusion that beauty was all he had. Not aggressively, not defensively, quietly, scene by scene, expression by expression. He learned how to let vulnerability soften perfection, how to let hesitation crack the polish, how to let silence speak louder than a flawless smile. And suddenly, audiences began to feel something shift. They stopped just watching him. They started believing him. The turning point wasn't a single drama or performance, it was accumulation. A glance held a second longer than expected. A tremor in his voice where confidence used to live. A character who broke instead of winning. In those moments, beauty stopped being the headline and became the background. But even then, the pressure didn't leave. Brand deals multiplied. Expectations doubled. His image became global, his face instantly recognizable. And still, the same question lingered in the air, quieter now but persistent. What will you do next to deserve this? That is the burden of being exceptionally beautiful. You must constantly justify your presence. Cha Eun Woo understands this better than anyone. He knows that admiration is fleeting unless supported by substance. So he continues to choose growth over comfort, depth over safety. He takes roles that test him emotionally, not just visually. He allows himself to be seen as flawed, uncertain, even fragile. Because the truth is this. His beauty is not his armor, it is his exposure. And exposure, when handled without discipline, can destroy. But when paired with effort, humility, and self-awareness, it transforms into something rare. Something lasting. There is a quiet bravery in choosing to stay earnest in a world that reduces you to appearance. In showing up again and again, knowing people will look first and listen later. In trusting that time, consistency, and honesty will eventually shift the narrative. That is what Cha Eun Woo is doing. He is rewriting the meaning of beauty not as an end point, but as a starting line. Not as a shortcut, but as a challenge he accepts daily. And every time he steps into the light, he carries the same resolve with him. See me if you must, but stay long enough to understand me. And just like every story before this one, the rhythm remains the same. Beauty opens the door. Discipline keeps it open. And the man behind the face continues forward steady, intentional, unfinished.